While we're talking about politics, though, the cannabis craze showing no signs of slowing down, both in politics and the market in general. Pot stocks have been on a wild ride since Canada legalized marijuana for recreational use back in October. The ETF-MG Alternative Harvest ETF is now outpacing the S&P 500, as you can see there. So joining us now is Yahoo Finance's Adam Shapiro, who spoke with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy and talked about his fight to legalize it in the state.
Right. Now, you'll recall that just last month they thought that this was dead because they had stopped a vote that the governor wanted. But he told us yesterday that, look, they are still talking with legislative leaders and there could be action on this by May. But even without that action, you're going to see a big expansion of medicinal marijuana. Here's what he said.
The status quo is unacceptable. Our kids are exposed. The bad guys run the business and make all the money. The social injustices continue. The drugs are being laced with sometimes deadly elements like fentanyl. We can do better than that.
Would there be erasing of the previous convictions for them?
So this is going to be the biggest step toward expungement and sentence vacating in the country's history. Unprecedented. And we're still committed to that. In fact, I won't sign it if it doesn't have that.
And he said, by the way, you should know that this expansion of the medical side of it, he says he has to do it. And when you look at the report that just came out of the New Jersey Health Department last week, they have doubled revenue. Just the market has doubled already. And half of the population of the state of New Jersey lives greater than 30 minutes from the alternative treatment centers where you get the stuff. So this report is all about increasing the cap on how much you can buy from 2 ounces a month, eliminating it for people with terminal illness. There's going to be big pot growth in New Jersey. The question is, will it be recreational? And the governor's saying, yeah, but even without it, we're growing.
But even then, though, right, I think a lot of people were surprised because his party controls the state Senate.
Yes, they do. 25 Democrats and 15 Republicans.
And they couldn't get it legalized. So
there were some Democrats who are concerned about the impact of recreational marijuana within their communities, and those concerns haven't been addressed. He said in the interview, and we've posted this on yahoofinance.com, he said, look, we are talking to the legislative leadership. We are tweaking the original legislation that they had proposed to get this thing passed. And I said to him, well, what are the tweaks? And he said, you'll find out when we get it passed. So we don't know what the tweaks are, but clearly somebody wants something. And it wasn't all the Democrats. It was a few Democrats who were opposed because of the impact, and Republicans in the communities.
Has anyone brought up if there's any sort of lobby that comes from the actual commercialization of the prison side of the equation? Because as soon as you start legalizing elements of drugs, you're taking away customers for prisons.
You know, it's interesting, and I don't know if New Jersey has a private prison system in which they pay. I see the point you're making. He is out front in saying, look, if you got put in jail, and we legalize recreational use, if you got put in jail, we're going to let you petition to get released from jail, have your record expunged as long as they were the minor marijuana offenses, erase the record, end your parole, and clean up the act. And that's, he talks about as well that the disparity between incarceration of Caucasian folk versus people of color on this particular drug offense is dramatic, and it's clearly not fair.
But it was also, sorry, go ahead.
Adam, what about the timeline that he says? He says that he's going to get to $80 million in marijuana tax by next year, but the legislation...
He's smoking something. I say it jokingly, but he is.
But he commented on that.
He didn't comment on the tax revenue, because what you see is the market itself was 53 million. So, you know, tax on 53 isn't going to exceed the 53. But what's happening is it doubled. The revenue doubled year over year. So look, if they double again, you're going to go from 53 million to 106 million. The problem is they can't keep up with demand. And that's what the New Jersey Health Department was saying. Look, we have got to increase the amount that people can buy.
And we've also seen other states run into their own issues with projecting how much they would be making in taxes, California being one of them, and they've come significantly
Politicians always overestimate
underneath it. But it would have been the 11th state to legalize marijuana in the U.S., and that would have been, I think, for a lot of cannabis fans, a big thing to see.
When you listen to Murphy, the question isn't if, it's when, and the question immediately is, will he deliver it by May? He says there's a good possibility they will.
All right.